Welcome to another episode of Bowling Around the Bays. Show made by bowlers for bowlers on the Mornington Peninsula.
I'm not coming out.
Mike.
I'm not coming out.
Mike, you've got to come out.
No,
mate.
I'm not coming out, mate.
Mike, you have to come out.
I am not coming out.
Come on, don't be silly, mate. Come on, it's about time. Out you come.
Might rain, buddy. I'm not taking any chances, mate. It might rain. I'm not playing, though. No, I'm not playing.
We've had an interesting week on Mornington Peninsula Bowls, to say the least, haven't we?
Have we?
Yes, we.
Well, I haven't bowled.
No, well, we had that.
I've got to put it over you. You might get wet too.
Oh, look, I'm all right to be in it. It's fine, mate. It's not raining.
I get a colourway might give me some free golf.
They might give you a free golf.
Am I supposed to take this serious tonight or not? Yeah, honestly. You should actually step away from this. This should be just a bit for me.
Are we going to talk about this first up?
Well,
because if you are, then I'm conflict of interest. I should probably let you go for it.
Or show it all to myself.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the way to do it.
All right, okay. I know this is what you wanted all along, but I'll step aside.
Yeah, bugger off. Righto, folks. Welcome to Stano's Bowl Show. Forget Between the Bays. This is all about me. Now, was it Friday night?
Yep.
Friday. Well, last Friday night, did I turn up, by the way? Right there?
Yeah.
I did turn up. Right. So last Friday night, I rocked up to Mount Eliza to watch them play Dramana in a pennant match under lights. Were the lights working?
Yes.
Okay, the lights were working. So there was no excuse for not going out there to play. But apparently, give or take around 7:20, and for those who don't realise, actually, I might get into my silly prop here. I'm going to get serious here. Apparently, at 7:20, the two side managers at Mount Eliza versus Dramana at Mount Eliza last Friday night came together to determine the start of play. Surprise, surprise, the Mount Eliza side manager said, we're going out to play. And the side manager for Dramana said, well, technically it wasn't really the side manager, but somebody there said, nah, we're not going out to play. So the rule book says the next thing you do then is you go and approach the umpire. And the umpire said, at 7:20, you'll go out and start your roll-up for tonight's pennant match. Bear in mind, they actually get 60 ends in to constitute a match these days. And at 7:20 and then at 7:30, with only one Dramana person visible on the green, or near the green, the match was determined to be over, which would, my eyes would think it became should have been forfeited and given to Mount Eliza. But the Mount Eliza people in good faith were out there trying to get a game started, and people from Dramana just wandered off home. Said, see ya, we're not coming out to play. So, in the rule book, it says at the start, and if it doesn't say this at the start, I'm going to write in there, apply common sense. Now, there might have been a couple of drops still falling between 7:20 and 7:30, but quite seriously, if you're going to be a bottom side of a ladder and you're trying to wake your way through to get 9 points to help you to avoid relegation, well, maybe you really shouldn't be playing the sport at Division 1 level, all right? Yes, it was a little bit wet, but the green was perfectly fine. I actually arrived to watch the people from Mount Eliza having a practice on the green as the Dramana people were trickling out. I don't get it sometimes. I don't play the sport very much anymore. I'm probably bored by it. I'm probably a lost cause to the sport. But seriously, what took place last Friday night with cameras set up to record the game, to promote the game, to give it the best possible coverage it could get, we even brought in our special guest presenter in Dane Gade, who, boy, oh boy, well, you're lucky he couldn't get here tonight. I actually asked him to come in for this particular show. He said, I can't, I'm too busy. But, wow, people from Dramana. I'd love Dramana Bowling Club. You've been a champion club of the old FBA and the FBD and the XYZ and the ABC. But what you guys did last Friday night was wrong. Simple as that. You should have said, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to give it my best shot to try and get some points the right way, which would have been to play the game. Just disappointed. I'm unusually for me, lost for words, but hopefully this weekend's game, which is due to be broadcast, which I believe is Rye versus Somerville, which is actually a cracking game, won't be heated out, won't be rained out, won't be snowed out, won't be hailed out, won't be cycloned out. Might be smoke haze of hanging around still, but I hope that won't affect the game either. And, well, sometime between now and Saturday, we'll know what time the game's going to start. We don't know if it's starting at 1 or 2, or I hope that the people from Somerville say for the greater good of the sport, they will go out and play at 2 p.m. rather than trying to play at 1 p.m. Oh, wow. What a week. We might just go to a break because I'm saddened by what took place last Friday night. And MPB, by the way, have done a couple of really good things this week. They gave the call off the games because of the smoke, the Pennant on Tuesday, which was a very wise decision. And then last night's games, well, Wednesday night's games for the triples, which I had bagged them for the week before. They actually waited and tried to get a start in that game, but that unfortunately, due to the rain last night, couldn't get started. Funnily enough, at Mount Eliza, of all places. But what took place Friday night was wrong. I'm not Darren Hinch, but it was wrong. We'll come back to the break and hopefully Phil will come back and rejoin us. Bye.
The Rye Hotel's been around for 80 years and is renowned for their good old-fashioned service and hospitality. Function facilities available. Phone 5985 2277, The Rye Hotel at 2415 Point Nepean Road, Rye.
Battery World now open in Mornington.
We know batteries. We know our 75 D23Ls from our DIN 65 LHs. And we know which is best for you. We have the range and a spark no one else can match because we live and breathe batteries. Those beautiful boxes and cylinders that power our lives and our passions. That's why we're the batteryologists. We're Battery World.
Battery World Shop 1, 43 Mornington Tyre Road, Mornington.
Okay, we're back to bowling between the bays. I suppose...
Sorry, I thought I heard rain. Keep going, sorry. I thought I heard rain. Sorry, keep going.
We'll keep going. So, of course, that result had an effect on the ladder, naturally enough. So I suppose we'll go through the other results on Division 1.
Why are you shouting?
Am I shouting?
Anybody think you won some big championship during the week? Folks, I am privileged to sit beside one half of the men's pairs champions for the MPBDCJKXYZ 2019-20.
Yes.
You and your chairman at Mount Eliza, who's promised the world to me and as yet has failed to deliver anything to me. I even went via the club tonight hoping to get a free drink and I still had to pay for my drink.
Get out.
There is something wrong down at your club. No wonder nobody wants to play bowls there. Righto, last weekend we did get some matches in. Hang on.
Well, that was part of the thing because, of course, we were asked by the MPB to actually play on Friday night, and whereas if we played Saturday, then there wouldn't have been an issue, would there?
You might have lost.
But I think we may have been asked to host another one, and I know that anyway, I think we'll still take it on. I think we'll still take it on.
You can be in shot for this one. People may or may not know. I also do some cricket umpiring, and at cricket, it doesn't matter what the two captains say. Ultimately, the umpires have the final say on everything that takes place, including the great Darryl Hare, who was a New South Wales guy, but he was an ICC international umpire, and he had the famous game between England and Pakistan, which I think was at Old Trafford. I might be correct on that one, but I think it was Old Trafford, about 2006. And the Pakistanis, because there was some question marks over the ball being tampered with by one of the sides, which wasn't England. And he went in and said to the guys, come on out to play. And they said, no, we're not coming out. So he gave them 2 cracks at it, and they said, no, we're not coming out. I'm getting very distracted because there's somebody up there, there's a lady up there who I think is rather hot, and she's got her hands touching on some bloke beside her.
That'll be her husband.
Oh, is that a husband, is it? Oh, God. Anyway, Darryl here, Pakistan said, no, we're not coming out. And so the game was forfeited by Pakistan to England by the umpires. Yeah. And the ICC got stepped in and decided to do what the ICC did best, and that was stuff everything up because of the Asian-based countries. So they had the power in the ICC. So the ICC eventually decided to reverse the decision and said, no, we'll classify this game as a draw. And sometime later they eventually came to the senses and realised that they should have stuck with the original decision by the umpires, which is what the game's about. The umpire's decision is final. And in this particular case, it's probably an interesting aside to what took place last Friday night. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking about. I'm off on a tangent as I usually do. But apparently Hastings hosted Rye last week.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining Hastings spanked Rye, did they? Because Rye is absolutely useless as a team at the moment. Justin Breen. Oh, Jussie Breen, as always, it's all about Justin. He got a win by 30-10 over Alan Williams. From Hastings, who's been president down there, and a good bloke too. He and his rink were absolutely flying, and Joe Turner lost by a few to Ken White. Adrian Johnson, actually I saw him in the street the other day in Frankston, and he was going back to do his work on his train, and all I said to him was, toot toot, and he turned bloody Stano. That's what he said, and I kept on driving. He had a draw with Ed Tompkins, who I did say a couple of weeks ago was only a good Division 2 draw bowler. He's obviously a bit better than that because he can run Adrian Johnson on Adrian's home track. Anyway, and then Joe Attard, who is the great sailing buddy of Stan Zawinski, and Barry Brady, who's commonly known down there as B2. He had a win by 8 shots over Steve Williams, but the end result was there was 13 points to Rye, 5 points to Hastings, which if I had a ladder, which would tell me, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, well done to Rye. They are the informed side at the moment, and they fell into the 4 as of that result there. I'll come to the reason why that in a second. Somerville hosted Coringal. I actually predicted.
Did you expected that?
I predicted. I said we didn't. I said during the coverage of whatever we covered the week before, what was that, the Champions or what it was? I said that Somerville would win 18 points and 50 or 60 plus shots. How close was I?
Wow.
How close did I get?
Very close.
So because Somerville got all the rinks up, no surprise there.
It's a fun thing.
I believe, this is only a rumour, and I don't peddle in rumours, as people know, I only go with truth and facts. 3 crisis meetings at Coringal yesterday. 3. And there's another one taking place as we speak on Thursday night at the club at the moment.
Really?
We had their great chairman in there a couple of weeks ago before Christmas, Dave Allen, who gave us a great rundown of what's happening there.
Fantastic.
I think, David, you might want to spend less time focusing on the buildings and the new green and maybe focusing on your selection panel who look after Saturdays. I don't know who the chairperson is of the, I think he goes piggy. But boy, oh boy, are there some crisis meetings happening down there. 3. I couldn't get a hold of him yesterday. I rang him all day. I'm in another meeting. Well, as we all know, Darren does pest control when he can't get rid of me. But I couldn't get hold of him in crisis meetings all day long. Anyway,
well, it's certainly showing on the green something's not right down there. Not right there. Grant Cataract goes down 20 shots to Brucey Evans' ring. That's a...
Didn't even get double figures. He got to 9. Mind you, there might have
Grant's pretty well won every other.
I love Grant Burley. I think Grant Burley's a ripper bloke. He's a good bloke. Okay, we'll go up there. Britt Jago, surprise, won his rink by 5 shots over Steve Adams.
Yep.
Phil Ashman was the 3rd in that ring. Now, that might be indication that maybe time for Phil to step back up to the skipping role because something's not right there. Brucey Evans, who, let's face it, has a reasonable rink in front of him, but I'm told his front end were on fire during this game, which is Darryl White, who used to be, I think, at Mitcham, and Barry Twentyman. And anyway, they won, they said, by 20 shots. 20 shots. Mind you, it was at Somerville, and I'm told that the downwind opening, like the Dennis Lilly end, those bowling downwind, were going at about 20 seconds, apparently. It was absolutely motoring.
We all know about that.
Who's that bloke over there?
That's Billy Gilchrist.
He's a great Tiger man.
He is. Go Tigers.
I must admit, I love my Tigers. I would never wear a onesie at the football, unlike Billy, who wears a onesie.
That's his trademark. His whole family wears onesies.
I'm trying to go to the mullet.
4 of them. Four onesies.
By the way, he's got a very cute daughter. I don't know if she's married or not, but she's very cute.
How did he do that?
The mother must be stunningly attractive.
I think he's got 2 cute daughters, haven't she? Yeah, he has. He's nodding. He's got 2.
Scotty Geimer won his rink by 6 over Darren Mathers, who had Andy Houston, Kevin Milton, who's a ripper bloke, and Christopher Peters. And Scotty Geimer's rink, just wandering along. They were actually, I know AJ was playing because she's been away at state duties this week in McLaren Vale in South Australia and did very well over there. And then Ronnie Arnold, who had to step up and skip because Jono Stevens, now I get excited, this is my little moment of glory here. Jono couldn't play because he had to look after the kids because his lovely wife Mel, who's a ripper character and a personality of bowls, was going to a wedding where there was free alcohol. Can you guess what happened?
Oh, Jono went for the free alcohol.
No, John didn't go to the wedding. He wasn't able to go. He had to look after the kids. But Mel went to the wedding.
Ah.
Fair to say, Mel, you excelled yourself with the free grog. Apparently very noisy during the groom's speech. I have got on very reliable facts. Thank you, Daniel from Coles at Hastings, for that bit of information about her. He's already been, I don't even know if he's still alive. I think he's been dealt with by Mel during the week, because that was... Anyway, that's why Jono couldn't play. So Ron Arnold stood up to skip. Now, Ronnie's a good little bowler, but he knocked off Grant Burley by 7 shots. And overall, it was a close enough to 40-shot win to Summy, and catapulted them to the top of the ladder, I believe.
Yes.
I haven't seen the ladder yet. I
It
think
is.
they might
Well,
be
they're
on top.
one game clear.
Well, they are at the moment, pending. Then Mornington Civic hosted City of Frankston. Now, this is where life gets interesting.
This is a goodie.
I believe that City of Frankston are throwing the big bucks this week to bring in a as yet unnamed player who I think played at both Armidale and possibly at Melbourne, and may have been very good at some second-rate international event. I believe they have splashed the cash. Where's my wallet? I've left it over there, thank God. But I believe... If my money was good, that the apprentice was getting $100 a game, this bloke might be getting double that. I hope my facts are right there, and I'm not doing it.
What's the situation there? Because if you're on the Mornington Peninsula in the MPB and you look to do a transfer, you had to do that prior to
December the 31st, apparently.
December the 31st. Is it different if you come from Metro to come into...
I don't know what's going on there. It may have been done before the cut-off date that we are aware of, but somebody whispered the other day that maybe if you're transferring from Metro to country or country to Metro, they're not going to penalise you if you're after the 31st. I don't know.
Because I think Kringle's got someone playing this week too. Who's a new one? Maybe. Word was someone was coming.
Maybe they signed me.
Well, maybe they did.
In one of the world's great surprises, Jerry Shriver won his ring in this game against Civic. Hey, oi, 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 oi. Quiet, we're on air.
No pillow talk, you two. Come on.
Uruguayans, they're all the same. He won his ring by 9 shots over Steve Pickles. Yeah, okay. Yep. And then Cooper Kraus, oh, no wonder the apprentice didn't turn up this week. He got spanked by 18 shots by Mick Curran, who Mick is, let's face it, a very good player within the state-type events, the like local version state events. Never picked him as a champion of Pennant game, but hey, well done, Mick Curran. You won 18 shots over Cooper Kraus, Stan Zawinski, Annie Skipworth and John Black. And then Alan Ash had wasn't he beautiful the way he played in the final of the Champion
very
Champions.
Well, what happens there? We got Benny Burko as skip. He's been playing third, fairly new bowler.
A very new bowler. Mind you, had a very experienced Graham Davis as his third, but that's an interesting one.
That's a big move.
Is he the one who's married to the one lady I like?
Yes, he is. He is.
Anyway, he got spanked, 32-7. We thought 9 for Cadrick was a low score. This guy only got 7 on his home track.
Yeah.
And then Ron Christie knocked off Steve Dare. Oh, poor Steve. He's the guy I've never met and apparently been a champion. He lost his ring by 18 shots. Anyway, the end result, this was a draw. Or a tie, actually, technically a tie. 79 each, 9 points each.
Yep.
That was at Civic. So well done to Civic, because they were my favourite for the cellar dwellers for the relegation spot. And no offence meant to you, City of Frankston, Mornington Civic, you still are, even though there are problems in other clubs. And then, of course, we had Mount Eliza versus Jamaica. What's it say on the side here? Washed out. And the other one says she didn't come out. That's an unusual thing to put on your pen and check form. It says washed out. And it says washed out as well. I thought it said didn't come out.
No.
There were some great matchups in that one. I mean, Billy Johnson, probably one of the best female bowlers that the Peninsula's ever had. He was up against Sandra McColgan, one of the better male bowlers of the Peninsula. So it would have been a good game, that one. 9 points each. Yep.
Anyway,
the ladder.
So the effects on the ladder are...
Bear in mind, this ladder is still... it is worth noting for those who are still tuned in, and we might be on record crowd this week. We might be going from 1 to 2 people watching us this week. We might be lucky.
Could be 2.
Could be 2. Well, I'm going to come back to nothing about the Crowder family in a minute. But anyway, the Mount Eliza, I believe, has put in a formal letter of protest, complaint. Could you please, MPB, look into this? which may have been looked into already. I'm not quite sure. But I think Mount Eliza would have every right to say, oi, we deserve 18 points for this game. Or alternatively, if I was in charge of the MPB match committee, I'd send him back out there to play on another day. Probably in the dark without your lights at Mount Eliza when it's pouring with rain, but just to make a point. Anyway, Somerville's on top of the ladder. 7 points clear. I like something.
Yeah, they're playing very well.
Yep. Mount Eliza's second, City of Frankston third, Rye into the four. There's the big news.
Big move.
Justy hasn't lost his rink. He reckons he hasn't lost his rink all season.
No, he had.
I
think he did the
claims
first one.
he was actually the third that week and not the skipper.
Ah.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, and then Hastings a fifth, Coringal sliding rapidly out of contention for the season. In fact, I'd almost go, well, they're only 4 points behind fourth, but I reckon they reckon they've got an easy run home. Good luck to them. Civic seventh, and last is Dramana.
Yes. So in the end, Dramana ended up even with the shared points because the Civic's draw. They still and last.
Wouldn't it be funny?
eighth
They
position.
probably thought on Friday night, hey, we'll get the 9 points out of this one. We've been the low side. We won't bother playing. We'll get the 9 points. We'll be safe. And then the following day, Civic comes out and stuffs them up. Folks, somebody actually, I love that one. Up on Facebook, went on Friday night, celebratory drinks, and I just wrote back and celebrating 9 points, are we? That was from a Dramana person who's a lovely lady, beautiful, beautiful lady. And I'm not quite sure that what she was celebrating, but I certainly took it as if she was celebrating the 9 points. Anyway, Division 2, our beautiful friends at Morning on the Beach had a draw.
Mornington Beach.
Hang on, they actually had one, sorry.
Yep.
I got 9 on the brain.
Yes,
Little 9 points that happened on the weekend in the Great Above. Anyway, they're still on top. They had a 9-point win over the bottom side, Mount Eliza.
Mount Martha.
Mount Martha.
Yeah.
I love Mount Martha too, by the way.
I know.
Belvedere a second. Yes, Belvedere, you are in the competition and you are an important member of the association, the division, but you're in Division 2, okay? If you can win Division 2 and go up to Division 1, well then we might take a little bit more interest in what happened with your results.
Have we had a complaint that we don't mention them?
Apparently so. Seriously. Dramana's second side, they played and got a win. Well done to them. Nice of them to go out and play. That must have been Saturday, I suppose.
That was it.
Coringal a fourth.
At
and
Dramana.
Mount Martha last. Now, your second side's not travelling too well. What's your coach doing down there? Oh, is he probably only focusing on the top side, is he?
No.
He's only I'm only looking after the top side.
No, we have training
the
with
bottom side.
all the sides, actually.
Training tops?
Training tops for 1 and 2, yeah.
Oh, so 1 and 2 are exclusive compared to the rest of the sides.
No, everyone had
club.
the opportunity to get a
Don't give
training
me that
top.
rubbish. Division 3, Hastings are on top. Oh, they had a decent loss, though, to the bottom side. This is a funny week. Mornington's second side romped in by 26 shots over the top side, Hastings. So Hastings on top with Blue Hills. I love these, I adore the retirement villages.
You do.
One day I might get banned from them all and be allowed to go back in there. And
One
live there
day you might be in one.
I'm banned from most of them still.
Hey,
Oh, yeah,
what did you do?
I breathe. Apparently breathing within retirement village is not very much liked, or it's frowned upon.
Wow.
Division 4, City of Frankston's on top. Good on them. Hastings a third. Woodland Park, another village there. And then we make that's Saturday Pennant. We probably gave it too much time for down there. We apologise for the lower grades, but the interest is in Division 1. And we do like to scan through the results and sometimes look and see what's happened down there. But we probably will come back later on. Should we talk about the champions? Because we've had a few state events happen in the break. We'll do that when we come back.
Yeah.
The Saturday ladders. This is this stupid...
South
and North.
Well,
Come on, please.
Let's look at Division 2 up on top anyway.
Yeah, okay. Rosebud on top.
On the Rosebud on the beach.
I was told by a member of the Rosebud Club at some event over the last couple of weeks, the club is not just based around Trouty.
Yes.
We are bigger than just Trouty.
Correct.
You got 18 points last week and would suggest that you probably are bigger than just Trouty, but the fact of the matter is, at that level, Division 2, Trouty is either bored or a champion. And they're on top of the ladder, which is great. Followed by Country Club. I reckon that will be a great final series in Division 2 South. Why it's Division 2 South is still beyond me. Good luck to everybody. But I think, and then Balnarring, who got spanked by Country Club, 31 shots, and not even a point.
Yep.
Wow.
Right.
Well, they're in fourth, so...
Yep.
Anyway, Rosebud on top, Country Club. I would suspect those two should fight out. They are both great clubs.
They did last year, actually. They were in the final.
And they didn't win it, did
And
they?
it was most unexpected. The
who did you
Country
beat?
Club got over the top. So Country Club got through.
And then
Oh, no.
then you knocked off
Yeah,
somebody in the playoff match.
Yeah.
You got a bad memory for a teacher.
Yeah.
How are you doing the holidays, by the way? It's just like being the normal week for you, isn't it? You're on holidays.
I'm bored out of my brains, to be honest. need to
Division
work.
3, Dramana's on top.
Yep, game clear of Rosebud Country Club.
Goes down to Division 4, sorry. Dramana and Country Club played off a 1-point win to Country Club, who were second. This is Division 4. And they only had one rink up. So the other Dramana had 2 up.
Must have been a
And all
big...
of a sudden, yep, Division
big
5,
win.
Hastings, and Division 6, Civic on top.
Yep.
With the usual suspects last, Mount Martha in Division 5.
Yeah.
And in Division 6, it's Rosebud. Who've got their new green, by the way, and they would be probably still a bit on the slow side.
Yeah.
They would be loving having their new green down there, and they're doing wonders with their barefoot bowls. The big news, we believe, with bowls down that way, is that young Frankie
Yes.
has been put on a special deal to go across the road to get free food. Do you know what's across the road from Rosebud Beach Volley Clubs?
Oh, no.
McDonald's and KFC and
Oh,
Subway.
really? Oh.
Might be some special little inducements there to come back. Anyway, he's back playing bowls at somewhere. I don't know if he's playing at Rye or Rosebud, but anyway, Frankie's given up the big time apparently at Caulfield Armour Park.
Well, as
And
have
come back down this
most
way.
of the players at Caulfield Armour.
Yeah, they had a little in out with it.
That's who I believe.
Where's the
I
Tuesday
think
Bowls
is coming
results?
to Kringle. or Frankston was from Caulfield Armour. That's
Anyway,
the
there's
whisper. And the only other whisper is I've heard that Stan Slawinski on Saturday is going up to skipping, and that
Ooh.
Cooper's third will be the new player that's coming in.
Well, I think his
That's
first
the
name is
Goss.
Michael.
Okay, so it'll be Michael. That's
I think
the
it's Michael
Goss.
something or other.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting, and that's an interesting one because he's coming straight into the side unseen,
Yep.
straight into a third
Straight
spot,
in
which is
number
not
3.
easy. But anyway,
Anyway,
he might
I
help
think
Cooper to ring his rig because let's face it, his current third is rubbish. Because let's look at the result from the last match, wherever it is.
Yes.
Cooper got to 11.
Yeah,
It's
29.
Stan is his third, so
Anyway,
hardly rewarding Stan by putting him up to a skipping spot.
I think what we'll do is we'll have a break, and then what we'll come back and look at the couple of the state events that we've had because
Brilliant, because you won one of them.
No,
Absolutely.
let's talk about the champion of champions because that was a very good match. So we'll be back in a moment.
Unless it's raining, we will be back shortly.
Okay, bye.
The story began on a quiet coastal road, in this backyard. It was the summer of 2006, when pedal pushers were in. Shane Warne took his 700th wicket, and a few great mates started making beer together. They say it takes a village to raise a child, same with a brewery. Grant here is the brains of the operation. He's the number cruncher, and the forward thinker. And there's Blake. We call him the Nutty Professor. He cares for the beers like they're his children. Oh, and Blake's mum works next door. Bless her. There's George with his son Brent. Every week they're here having a beer, asking, how's life, mate? Meet JP. He drives our delivery van. Local artists made our artwork. Lovely people. We're basically one big family, with a beer for everyone and every occasion. At Jetty Road, we're very serious about not taking ourselves too seriously. Come say hello, there's a beer waiting for you.
So welcome back to Bowling Between the Bays. We've been having a bit of a
I think
conversation.
it's going to rain again. All I like Callaway golf balls. Please, Callaway, please send me lots of golf balls.
I'm told you need lots and lots of golf balls. I actually saw a video for who put that on Facebook where they actually you were off the side of the
bunker.
You weren't in the bunker. You're off the rink. You were down in amongst the bushes.
Oh, that was
and you
brilliant.
took about 2 shots to get out, and they're all laughing their head off. at you.
That was filmed by the beautiful Phil Rees, who
it was funny.
who's become a bit of a convert to golf in recent years.
Okay.
That was hilarious that day. That was actually in a charity fundraiser for the Rosebud Footy Club.
Yep.
And I don't think it was allowed to film me.
No, but we
let's be
found
serious
out
with it.
we found out some news though that there is somebody coming for Kringle, and if you look on the Facebook page, it does actually pop up with their team and a gent called Sam McNeil, who we believe.
Sorry, you believe?
Well, could be is what
I've never heard him
the
before.
whisper is, and the other big thing is Jan Richardson is in the team.
That means that
Means she's actually playing Pennant.
Well, no, it's not just that. It also means that the unwritten law of selection at Coringa, which is women aren't allowed on the top side on a Saturday, has been broken. That's been a long-standing rule there for a long time. I believe they tried the same thing at Hastings, and that didn't work too well down there, trust me. Anyway, that's only me being silly, folks.
Yep.
Pete's got the lawyers on the phone.
Yeah.
Pete's got the lawyers on the phone already. So what are we going to talk about now? You.
No, well, look.
Who did you beat? No, let's start off. The most recent one was last Sunday.
Yes.
Was the men's and ladies pairs final.
Yes, correct.
The ladies pairs final was won by Jan Richardson and Linda Milton. Oh, she's nice. She's another lovely lady.
I think
she's married to
that
Kevin,
was
unfortunately.
her first win, wasn't it? That was her first win in the States or something like that, because she was as proud as punch, and of course Jan's
No, she had a decent win last year in something down there, in one of the events last year. Anyway, so Jan and Linda won, and they knocked over in the final, and I've done my homework here because I've got not a clue they played in the final.
That's all right, but it was Country Club, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Ladies from Country
that's
Club.
right, congratulations, though, to all people who played.
Yeah,
played in lovely spirits.
Very good match.
And good respect for each other. And
yeah, they did too. They were 9-0 down, I think.
We're still talking about bowls, Fernando?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Right. Speaking of coming from behind, though, in the men's final, I left at...
A lot of people left, Mike.
I left Grant and Tabs, the great man, were leading, I think, 13-3 with, I don't know, maybe 6 ends to go, and I was going,
Sportsbet had closed the betting.
Yeah, they paid out. Sportsbet already paid out.
Fernando had given up. I had to listen back at that. Tell you what, you were giving away Steve's house and his car and everything.
Poor old Steve, our president, Steve Brindle, he lost $1. He apparently had a bet with you for $1.
Yeah.
And that would, trust me, that would be the first $1 he ever earned.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've left. Everybody's given up and said, oh, crikey, Tabs and Cater, they can't lose from here. Well, they certainly did lose them there. They lost the last 6 ends, as my information. Lost something like 11 or 12 shots on those last 6 ends. Last 4 ends. It's even worse. I actually watched, I was in disbelief. I did not believe what I was hearing. So I actually went back and watched the tape of that Fernando had filmed. Or sorry, not you had filmed, but I think Anna had filmed, or Peter, somebody had filmed anyway. Right, somebody filmed anyway. Yeah. And I watched it back, and on the last end, you actually play what I call a bowl.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Well, Tabs got the lucky wicket, I think, by memory.
Oh, yeah.
And got something off. Oh, I'm working off my memory here. Then you had the first bowl of the skippers, the stupidity of 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. God, give me a break. Can you play 3 bowl pairs, please? Anyway, you had to play a bowl, and you've played an extraordinary bowl.
It's the only shot you could play.
It's probably the only shot you ever played.
Yeah, probably.
But it was brilliant. It was truly brilliant. And then the Cat had, I think you made the conversion, you knocked Tabs' bowl out, which sort of got the wicket or stayed on something. Anyway, you then had to play a bowl, and you've pushed their head out, their bowls out of the head, and you're holding 3, possibly 4, I don't know how many you're holding, who cares? 3. And then I watched in disbelief that Caddis has gone back to the mat, and probably whether he and Tabs overthought the situation, not quite sure, and Caddis has then played, I'm assuming what was supposed to be a draw shot, and it was 2 or 3 metres over. I thought, well, this guy's, I'm not being smart here, but actually this guy is extremely good. He'll draw in here and get second shot. In fact, I would have been drawing to hide a second shot behind, or in front of one of your bowls, so that it couldn't go out. But anyway, then you'd come and played some nondescript, usual, crappy reaching bowl that you normally play. And then Caddis has still got the chance to cut the game back down to a draw or win to him, and he missed. And you guys became the great champions. Don't be humble here, Sunshine.
No, it was an interesting game. If you actually look at it...
Not the only time you ever win anything, so don't be humble, for God's sake.
No.
You won anything before?
No, I've only ever been runner-up. So, I mean, but what it was is it got to the stage where...
She's touching him again.
Where we had to go for our shots, and all the shots we went for came off. So, in the end, it was... They got 9 ends, we got 9 ends, but I think at one stage we were, 13-3 down.
I got the card. You won the first... Is that you in the front?
Yeah.
What's that? Crow.
Crow.
What does that stand for?
Crowder.
Oh, okay, it's all about you.
And Cat is
category. Okay. So you got there's a 1-1, 4. I dropped the 4 in the third end.
Yep.
You didn't deserve to win. If you drop a 4, you don't deserve to win anyway. You dropped. Sorry, you went. You dropped. This is ends 3 to 8, folks. These guys who became the champions dropped a 4, a 1, a 3, a 1, a 1, and a 1. And you still won it.
Yeah.
Doesn't say a lot, does it? Anyway, congratulations to you guys. That was brilliant.
It was a good match, and the
fat ladies in.
the semi-final.
Let's just Richmond versus who did we beat in the final? No, that was 80. That was easy. GWS, who didn't even give a yelp.
But in the
I don't know
semi-final,
why anybody would barrack for GWS. I think Dane barracks for them, and so does Ash Rowan, who used to be down here. He was a superstar of Premier League bowls.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so in the semi-final, Mickey Vaughan and Billy Gilchrist here, they ended up playing Grant, and that ended up being dead set even. They had to play an extra end, and Grant and Lyle got over.
they were like lyrebirds before that.
So-
We are the current champions from last year, and we're going to win it 2 years running. Well, you didn't, did you? No? You crowed a little early.
It's always next year.
A little early you crowed. Facebook was lively up to that particular semi-final, and they didn't give a yelp.
Now, Billy broke down. If he was a horse, they would have put a screen around him and shot
Poor
him.
Billy.
Yeah.
Billy's over there to the left, by the way.
Yeah.
And then, so what was the other semi-final? Was you played
Steve Adams.
Okay, no wonder you
Yep.
won. Okay.
And we did that. But anyway, it was a very good match. And you look at the last end where the lead changed like 4 times. It was amazing. It was amazing.
What did Tabs and Dale change into? So you said the lead changed.
Yeah, well,
Oh, you mean the score changed?
Score changed.
Oh, because the lead actually would be the front bowlers.
okay, well, you know what I mean. That
No wonder you've never won anything until last weekend.
anyway, and the ladies. So
Crikey.
we've done
That was
we did
brilliant.
that.
That
and
was
let's-
actually that was brilliant. And you will now go on to represent us in against the
Casey.
people.
Correct.
Which
As-
is generally somebody from Pakenham, generally.
Yeah, and Dale was telling me today that they've actually got the mixed and also the men's pair being played on the same day. So I don't know what's going to happen there because, of course, Dale's in both of them now.
I'd probably advise him.
So-
I probably would forfeit the men's pairs one, and just concentrate on the mixed pairs if I was him.
Let's not-
Kim will probably
let's not
carry
be-
it better than he
Let's not
will.
be rash. Now, the
Now-
champions, we haven't
Where's that?
got anything. Well,
Well, all we know is that Alan Ash knocked off Frankie in the final. We covered it live,
Yep.
as we always do, and we
Yep.
covered the women's final as best we could, even though we were getting a few complaints, we weren't devoting enough time to it. The fact of the matter is we got a broader reach of viewers because Frankie Chrysalik from Country Club, Rosebud on the Beach, was in the men's finals. Anyway, he and Ashley played a cracking match. It really was. It was actually a match worthy of a champions final on a green which it was running well, but it's not the best green at City of Frankston because the best green is the one on the other corner.
Yeah.
But that's the show green. Thank you for Billy who played on it last year. In all those, you get the two of you on the same green, so you got to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Frankie was so well behaved through most of the game, and then some fool who was. If there's one thing I could suggest to people, when you're hosting an event, and you're the host club, as in your particular case, that was Frankston, although PB was in charge of it, you should have the areas behind the rinks roped off so only officials and bowlers can go in there, or in our case, the media can be in there to film it. But we had a few too many people standing behind or sitting behind the rinks, and one particular person decided, whether rightly or wrongly, to try and offer some suggestion of advice to Frankie, which Frankie didn't hear correctly, and then launched in a bit of a sort of... Anyway, lost the plot. And came out of one of the next 4 ends.
Lost the plot, but it was like, putting a stick into a bear because he ended up turning around and that turned his game around.
Yes, and he got it back
Totally
to a
turned
point
it
where they both were into the 20s. And anyway, in credit to Ashley, he is a deserving champion of this one, and is a bloke who continues just to go along at his own pace and is starring in Pennant, as we see.
Yep.
And is also now, for the first time in his life, the champions for the region.
Yeah.
For the district. The region, well, not the region, the district, whatever we're called down here, which is great. And then Jan Richardson played, and at the halfway mark of her game against Leslie Eade from Mount Martha, that game was over. And I should also point out, some people said to me, I didn't do a lot of commentary on the day. I said I was very glad not to be, because you and Stan particularly, even though we had a few problems with microphones, you and Stan were outstanding in the commentary that you provided. Stan's knowledge and insight into the sport of bowlers was brilliant, and he was asking questions rather than just commentating on the game. He was asking questions of what would happen next, what could you do next, which was it was brilliant commentary with a little bit of help at times from the apprentice, although as we discovered his microphone wasn't necessarily working that well for him.
Neither was Mike John Curtin's.
No, that was probably a benefit to most people. And Billy was on the sidelines giving a bit of advice. I was just wandering around. Anyway,
and the interviews, it was a good day.
I actually got applause from somebody high up in the world of bowls. 35,000 different views
35,000
across 5 million different platforms. Even I was outstanding at what I was blown away by what was there, and it just shows the interest that we had in Frankie playing. Probably brought a lot of those viewers in, but we had people
from Metro.
We had a lot of people from Mount Martha. In fact, Leslie Eads, who was run up in the ladies section, her daughter, her son, who I think lives in Singapore, I think it was watching the game live because of what we were covering. That game was Jan Richardson's, she was all over it.
Yeah.
And then Leslie mounted an extraordinarily brilliant fight back and showed us what she really is capable of doing as a bowler. And I will still stand by the fact that I think she's the best lady bowler on the Peninsula at current times, but she doesn't believe that herself, which is sort of her problem. But anyway, she and then Jan,
very good match.
Then it came down to and if Pete can find it, he might even overlay. Jan played an extraordinary.
It was a clutch
bowl.
shot, wasn't it? She just.
It's funny. I just moved Pete's stationary camera in to just on the edge of the ring, and he picked it up beautifully. The shot. And I was behind the ring watching, and I'm thinking, well, this is a really gutsy shot by Jan to play.
Yeah.
She was one down. There's some talk she might have been two down, but one down definitely. But Leslie may have been holding game. Jan's come down and trailed the jack. Better part of probably with some ditch weight, I'd imagine, was probably the way it was going. But anyway, it's come off, the jack's come off another bowl and then come and sat beside her own back bowl, which then gave her a 3, which put her back to 24-23. Leslie couldn't, that was the last bowling at the end. Then they went to the last end and Leslie faltered a fraction with the first bowl, as did Jan. Jan's second bowl, a little rub off, and came in and sat very close to the jack. And Leslie couldn't move it off, and
she had to come in with weight then, and
Jan became our champion. So, well, there was some question marks. She had played on her forehand with her second last bowl, and
because we're all experts from the side,
and she rolled her wrist. She actually,
aren't we, Billy?
She said she walked back to pick up her last bowl, and she said, "Stop rolling your wrist," which was then why she then went and played on her backhand for her last bowl.
Yeah.
I would have probably preferred to see her stay on the forehand, but that's life. Anyway, Jan was the winner, as was Alan Ash, and they both go and represent us now in the region playoffs, which, if we knew some dates, I've got no clue, they'll be happening soon. Did you have anything else happen while we were on the break? Triples. Remember they played the triples?
Yeah.
Well, the triples was played first rounds at your place.
Yeah, but then one of the next matches was they decided to do that themselves down at Civic. But the other matches were to be played last couple of nights ago, Wednesday. But of course, with all the rain, they put that off. So I know we're going actually to air on Saturday, which will mean last night they would have played that, hopefully, weather permitting, at Mount Eliza. And so
which is quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals. So
and then they'll come back and play semi-final and final on another date.
Correct.
Are you in that one still?
No.
Billy, are you in it? You in it, Billy?
No, Mike Kalmeyer, Wayne Hogan, and who else? Mike Pearce from our club are in it, and I believe they're paying Cooper Krause's team.
Speaking of Mike Pearce,
Cooper Krause and
Mike
Ben.
Pearce, his wife Suzanne was looking very fresh when I saw her the other day. She's looking very
nice.
Looking very fresh.
That's nice.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll have a break. When we come back, there will be an interview. We've got Bill Scherrer and Michael Horan from Main Ridge.
Bill Scherrer is the president of Main Ridge, which is actually the Main Ridge Bowling and Petanque Club.
Yes.
Is that pronounced correctly to our French guests up the back?
Baton.
She's on the phone as usual.
Yeah, so John Adams will be
yes.
interviewing them.
And Mike Horan's the famous journalist from the Herald Sun, cricket writer, I think. If it's the same guy.
Did cricket, I believe. So we'll have a break.
Yes, we will.
When we come back, we'll do that interview.
There's some other things to talk
and then after that, we'll be back. So back in a moment.
The story began on a quiet coastal road in this backyard. It was the summer of 2006, When pedal pushers were in, Shane Warne took his 700th wicket and a few great mates started making beer together. They say it takes a village to raise a child, same with a brewery. Grant here is the brains of the operation. He's the number cruncher and the forward thinker. And there's Blake. We call him the Nutty Professor. He cares for the beers like they're his children. Oh, and Blake's mum works next door. Bless her. There's George with his son Brent. Every week they're here having a beer, asking, how's life, mate? Meet JP. He drives our delivery van. Local artists made our artwork. Lovely people. We're basically one big family, with a beer for everyone and every occasion. At Jetty Road, we're very serious about not taking ourselves too seriously. Come say hello, there's a beer waiting for you.
With Mike Horan at the Main Ridge Bowling Club. Mike, you're a relatively new player to bowls. Tell us how you got into it.
Well, I'm also a golfer at the Rosebud Country Club, which is an opponent now in bowls, but our president is a golf partner of mine, and we play every Wednesday and Friday. And he lured myself and my neighbour, who also plays golf with him, up here for a roll to see if we liked it, and I loved it, and I've been playing Pennant bowls twice a week ever since.
You've been lucky to have played through an era where Main Ridge have had a lot of success.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's amazing because it wasn't expected, and being the smallest club on the Peninsula, to win our first premiership midweek in my first year was such a thrill. Particularly seeing the opening game of that season, we won but had our points deducted because the president forgot to register me. But we went on and beat the unbeaten Mount Martha in the grand final, which we repeated again last year. And then we won Saturday Pennant last year too. So it's been terrific success. I guess part of it's because we're such a small group, we play together and the team doesn't change much, and we've all moulded pretty well.
Now, you've had an interesting career, worked in sport all your life.
Well, my journalistic career, I did all the things as a cadet that you had to do, police rounds, finance, trades hall, all of that. But from 1982 onwards, until I retired in 2011, I was a sports writer. Yes, football, cricket, basketball, Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games. So I've been pretty lucky, yes.
You must have seen some great things. What are your highlights? Have you?
My biggest highlights would be the 1987 World Cup in India, where Australia beat England in the final in Calcutta to win their first World Cup. Being at the finish line in Sydney when Cathy Freeman won her gold medal, I thought was amazing. And I think two of the most moving moments were seeing Teddy Whitten do his farewell lap at the MCG. Is something I can't forget. It's phenomenal. And also meeting Muhammad Ali when he came out here. That was pretty special too. So wonderful stuff, yeah.
Thanks, Mike. That's good. With this week's Club of the Week is Main Ridge, and we're with the president, Bill Scherrer. Bill, can you tell us, when was the club formed?
The club was formed in 1960, so of course this year we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. It's a big year for us.
It's probably the most picturesque bowling green in Victoria.
Well, it'd be up there, I think. It's rather an idyllic setting, surrounded by beautiful gum trees and shrubbery, and it's quiet. And I think Main Ridge, most bowlers that come really appreciate the aspect.
At one stage, how big was your membership?
Well, going back in the first 3 or 4 decades, around about 150. So it was a very strong club. But the population has shifted since then, and many of the properties have been bought by weekenders, So we don't have the drawing power that we used to.
What about the Pennant Club?
Dog Club is really growing. We're up to about 50 members now, and we've got some really good players and some developing players, and we're fairly competitive in tournaments.
In recent years, clubs had a lot of success.
Yeah, on the bowl side, we're lucky enough to win 3 premierships in the last 2 years. Two premierships last season, one on Saturday and one Tuesday, so pretty excited about that for a small club with 25 bowlers.
Thanks, Main Ridge.
Welcome back to Bowling Between the Bays.
I realise that neither of us have worn our reading glasses tonight.
Well, mainly because I forgot mine.
I've got mine, but I haven't got to wear them yet.
No, we haven't yet.
But I want to do quickly before we go on to anything else.
Yeah.
I want to wish happy birthday to Nick Poder, who is the son of Michael and Heidi Poder. Well, obviously, that's who they are.
Yeah.
I think Nick might have turned 30 this week, which is showing just how old he is. Nick's been a champion bowler, and he's the only person on the Peninsula who has 3 Nepean League titles when we used to have the Nepean League down this way.
Okay.
Nick won 2 with us at Summing, and then he ran off and joined Tremana, I think it was, actually, back in the days when they actually liked to play bowls. And our floor assistant, he's our floor manager, he's our floor assistant, Fernando. He's putting stuff in front of us. Anyway, so happy birthday to Nick. He's got 3 Nepean League titles. Good luck to him. And he and Claire, his lovely fiancée, are due to get married at some stage. I don't know when, but anyway, he's a happy man at the moment. And there's a lot. It's interesting you talk about that. Actually, just put my eye just aside for a moment, as I tend to do.
Yes.
I saw a post come up on Facebook during the week. We're pretending that this is Saturday morning, so it was earlier this week, of the year that Tremana actually won the Nepean Leagues. They ruined it for everybody else with their behaviour on the greens, but they won it all the same. And we saw the side, and not one member of that winning side is still there. That's now 10 years. This is the 10-year anniversary for them, is this season, as far as I know. It might be, it is this year. Anyway, not one of their, actually that's their 9th anniversary of them winning it. But it was just interesting to see that they, because of them, we just never got the Nepean League back up and running because they treated the opposition people so poorly.
Okay.
What else were we going to talk about?
Well, we were talking about how got a new sponsor.
Oh, yes.
And that is O'Brien Real Estate, so we thank them for their patronage.
Not just any O'Brien Real Estate, but some very special 4 of them.
Yep.
Chelsea, Langwarrin,
Yep.
Somerville, which is where young Ty Luff runs things down there, and he's a ripper bloke and has been a great supporter of the local community down there in Somerville, because I know that area because of my bowls. And also Hastings. So also welcome to the people from O'Brien Real Estate. And yes, indeed, yes, clappings. And obviously Chelsea and Langwarrin and Summy and Hastings is a heartland for us to some degree. Well, probably not Chelsea because they're just a little bit further away. Their closest bowls club down there would be Carrum. But happy to have them on board, which is great news. And one day we might see a motor vehicle company on board. Pete's getting me. Pete keeps teasing me. We've got a motor vehicle company coming on board.
But he's got a very straight.
The German brand? German brand.
German brand.
Yep, that's what we're going to say at the moment. We're playing charades at the moment.
Bit like a peace sign, kind of.
No.
You know, that wasn't it?
So not.
Yeah,
that one, yeah, we know the one. We've got a couple of big tournaments coming up in the near
future. Does that look clean? Okay. I'm a bit worried.
Can I just, whilst you guys are just, can you keep the show clean, guys? I don't go there. I don't use smut to make humour. You shouldn't use smut to make humour either. I was back on the midweek bowls second. We had no midweek bowls, as I said before, up at the start, because they were smoked out. A brilliant decision by the MPB people, that's 2 in the week. I love to give praise to them when they do things well, and I'll give them a kick in the backside when they do things wrong. We have a big match this week. It's 2nd versus 3rd. It's Hastings versus Country Club at Hastings on the following Tuesday. So that will be exciting. Speaking of big events, one of the big, probably, our biggest open event in bowls is coming up soon.
Which it didn't used to be, of course, because you had to basically qualify.
That's when I used to play, and you had to qualify to get into it. Nowadays it's open up to mums and dads everywhere.
Yeah, and that's the Australian
You probably play it now, do you?
I haven't played in it, but I'm seriously would like to do it. And it's interesting that now the entry open, so that you can actually enter to go, but it does close on April the 10th.
We talk about the Australian Open, by the way, folks, which is hosted up on the Gold Coast.
And that is where basically, of course, now it's open as in open, so
Yes.
anyone can actually enter, and as they do. And there's a couple of people I know who've gone to it, and they think it's absolutely fantastic, great experience, world-class bowlers. I think there are a lot of national players from a lot of Asian, Pacific-type countries came and played as well.
It does, I think, clash at times. I think the clash dates with one of the UBC or the BBL games. But we got some brownie points from Bowls Australia, by the way, when we were hosting the Champions, because we put up a little thing, Pete put up the thing at the bottom saying people donate through the Bowls Australia. I think we call it the Crisis Fund anyway, and they've been very well received. And we got a thank you from the CEO of Bowls Australia, and we might get another thank you out of him here because we're promoting his event. But the disciplines there are the singles, the pairs, the fours, the under 18 singles, boys and girls. I actually might enter that one myself. Over 60s, which would probably be your domain, wouldn't it? Over 60s.
Not quite yet.
Pairs for both men and women, and various bowlers with a disability discipline.
That could be yours, is it?
I might get some NDIS. I know somebody got NDIS. I know somebody that got NDIS money for something wrong with their son, and they went out and bought a new bloody Mercedes not long after they got the money. I've quite a question how the NDIS is running. That's just my personal side. Anyway, the big event up at the Gold Coast, Paris. Hilton, which is Alan Hilton, who plays at Pakenham, is always looking for somebody to come and share his accommodation with him. He does it at the last minute, and he's looking for somebody. He'll probably there's accommodation there with him anyway. That's the Oz Open, folks. It is a great event. It has changed from the great days when people like myself used to succeed up there with great.
You mean you qualified to actually get in?
Many times, actually. It might surprise you. And it's my old mate Scotty Gomer and I, who I carried through a game against superstar bowlers. That was when it was hosted at Darebin. I remember the last bowl, this is just me going, the very last bowl of the Australian Open of 2000 and whatever the last year, there might have been 15 or 14, 13, was one of the superstar Australian bowlers, a lady, and she was asked the question, she just won the Australian Open, and she was asked the question, so how does it feel out here to be the champion? I can't wait for it to move to the Gold Coast next year, because it was horrible conditions and the greens were rubbish because they were tipped off greens being used in November in Victoria, which was just Melbourne anyway. Anyway, she was she was the Australian captain, whoever the Australian captain is, and she'll be there. One other thing, one of our other bowlers now this way, Lee Strainer, has just returned to bowl in Victoria. He's playing for Victoria. It's been 76 months, he quoted, since he last played for Victoria. He, of course, was the superstar coach of the Coringa Bowling Club and made a huge difference. And he made bowls on the Peninsula for 2 years while he played here. Probably for the next 3 years, then it started to sort of fall off the cliff a bit. But yeah, it was great having him down here. He lifted us up to a new level of bowls.
He was an amazing bowler. Now, talking about other big comps, other than just the Australian Open.
This one is worth talking about.
It's one that Civic, I noticed on all the social media, it's just gone out. They have the big Mercedes Ryman 5000, which is a 3 bowls triples, $75 a team. That comes up on the 18th of April at Mornington Civic.
Brilliant initiative. Fabulous to have those two brilliant sponsors on board, especially the people from Mercedes. I think Mercedes is a great mark. But 3 bowl triples, fair dinkum, folks, give me a break. That is yesterday's stuff, all right? 2 bowl triples, that's when that will attract the big names down to play in an event. But 3 bowl triples is like playing Lotto. You've got no idea what's going to happen at the end of the day. But a great initiative, great Civic. I love the idea. Love it, but...
what else have we got? Yes, I had some details where Pam Dine has asked me to mention that...
sorry. We're still on air. Sorry. What are we talking about?
No, it's quite important. She's asked if we can mention that the past president's novice event entries are now with their CCOs.
Choked any time I played that. I choked.
Did you?
Yep.
Big time. I choked too. I did a wrong bias and a pineapple in the novice singles grand final against some guy from Balnarring. And I got there, and I got married the next day, believe it or not.
That went well for you, didn't it, that weekend?
Yeah, it was... didn't work too well. But I actually did a pineapple and a wrong bias in the grand final. Anyway, there you go.
Speaking of getting married, are you still single? Didn't have luck
Yes.
over the Christmas break?
No, I didn't get married over.
I've got a little bit of
weekend.
Botox or a bit of fillers there, mate.
Do you think?
Just pull your skin back.
Just a
I
little.
did
Just a
that
little.
for you.
Yeah, oh, that worked.
That'll have the women jumping down
I think
down
it
the
would.
screen to watch you.
I think it would.
Single, worth a poultice of money, 15 Mercedes-Benz, 5,000 property on
15
the
now.
Peninsula.
Used to be a
This
beam.
man, girls, he is hot property.
Anyway.
And I'm told goes pretty well too in the dark.
In fact, I look better.
magnet.
In fact, I look better in the
A
dark.
lot better in the dark is what I'm told. Yes, folks, a lot better in the dark.
Anyway, so Pam was telling us the past president's novice event entries are with the CCOs at clubs.
Just a gesture to the CCOs and the people there, make sure your person actually is still a novice, unlike a couple of years back when somebody might have gone very far in the tournament and discovered they weren't a novice.
Well, at bowls, let's hope that that what they do is the clubs actively seek out
Can I be serious?
their novices to actually get them to play in it, because it is a great experience.
Why is nearest microphone always closest to you? I can't. People say they can't hear me.
You've got two of them.
Well, you got one there and one over there for you. But in all seriousness, to Pam and her group,
Yeah.
And I remember your club at Mount Eliza is heavily involved in this committee, I believe, who run this,
Really?
which would be Julie.
Ah.
I think Stackpole. I think.
Well, she was.
Anyway, this is actually a wonderful event for the novices to play in. It's very well run, and it used to be always hosted just at Civic, and nowadays I know it's Civic and City of Frankston host it.
Yep.
And it is a great event. So all your novices get out there and play it. It's an event made for you, a tournament made for you. It's not actually an event. It is an event, but it's a tournament for novices, which I think is brilliant, and it's a great one to play in. And you can join such past luminaries as Phil and I and choke in the final of it if you want to.
Yeah, it'd be great. So she says that the singles will be at Mornington Civic, pairs at City of Frankston. She also wants to make mention of the club coaches course that will be on the 2nd and 9th of February at Mornington Civic, and if you're interested you can download the application form on the Bowls Victoria website.
And the other good news from Pam is that Sid, her husband, who's been struggling with health for a number of years,
he's back home.
He came back home. He's still not fantastic, but he's going there.
So we wish him well, as we always do.
Anything else we should talk
Lovely
about?
man. So I think that is all.
Coming up, we've got the triple still to come up.
Yes.
Which is this Friday night, so it was the last night.
Yep.
And then the final of that is somewhere in the future. I'm not quite sure the day that one. Have we actually played the Falls yet in this area?
No.
Which used to be the very first event of the season. It was always the one that you play in September as a lead up to get
Pennant,
prepared for
which would
Pennant.
make sense. Same format.
By the way, Somerville had their big tournament. I got some footage of it, but anyway, guess who was playing in it? The ex-Carlton full forward, big fella. What was his name?
Favola?
No, not him. No. What was his name again?
Same one, I know.
Full forward from Carlton.
John Nichols?
No, a bit younger than that. He's joining the Mount. He played in the 90s, and he plays at the Brunswick Club now. We remember him so well that we've forgotten his name.
Steve Kernahan?
No.
Well, he was the forward.
Well, he played against Michael Potter. Anyway, I got a little bit of footage there. We might throw it up behind us at some stage over the near future, which was. No, it was. I'm having a blank. Well, I'll remember it next week anyway. I could have written it down, but I don't write notes. I just fly by the seat of my pants.
Now, just before we do go, it was mentioned that there will be some streaming that will take place on Australia Day, 27th of January at the Dandenong Club. It's their big Aussie Day fours, $6,000 prize money.
If people want to know what Kringle's about to build and do to their club, go down to the Dandenong Club and see the closest version of it to our area. It was I watched the Bowls Victoria Premier League Grand Final there back in April, March, or when the hell it was played last year. At that stage the green was fairly new, it hadn't been fully tightened. I think from what I've heard down there it's now all fully tightened, flowing very nicely and going very well. The other big news we have is that Pete Susovich, our producer, our lighting director, our music director, our sound director, is going to get some bowls and join a club. That could be entertaining.
Well, he did mention that.
Could be entertaining.
I was debating whether to use an arm.
Speaking of arms, how much time have we got to go? All right, well over. Anyway, good night, folks. Good morning. Have fun. Welcome back to Bowls. And
good luck to everyone
single.
today.